So the industrial sector is essentially divided into the manufacturing, okay, investing in properties where manufacturing takes place, and logistics. So manufacturing is really been the traditional way to investing, and it has to do with where location where production is located. As you know, many over the last 20-30 years, a lot of the production that used to take place in the West has been offshored to China, India, and other emerging markets, Mexico, Brazil. So there hasn't really been a big trend of industries occupying space. This is changing, as we will see shortly, but it is still not relevant for what we are doing. The other part of the industrial sector has been the logistics sector, and this has been a boom. Okay, there is a boom over the last 5 to 6 years, and is really why the industrial sector has become now probably the first or second top preferred of the traditional sectors to invest. So, first of all, let's understand how the logistics sector is structured. Okay, so you have raw materials that are shipped to some international manufacturer. Okay, so these are plants located outside of the country, and then they are shipped, okay, to a large national distribution warehouse. This is the gateway distribution. Or you might have domestic factories, so by train or by truck, they go to a national distribution warehouse. From the national distribution warehouse, the goods are shipped to regional warehouse, where it's called a multi-market distribution. And then from those warehouses, they are then sent to city distributions or to the so-called last touch distribution, very, very close to the end consumers. So you can have a retail center, I say shopping center, where the individual may go and shop directly, or you might have, as it has happened today, delivery directly to home. Okay, so you have big boxes, as they are called, which are the national, mid boxes, regional, and small boxes, or urban logistics, last touch logistics. There is another area of the logistics space where demand is rising, which are the return centers. You know, when you have there is a good 20-30% of goods which are sold online, which are returned, and unless the retailer or e-tailer is able to handle the returns properly, it won't have it will not sell again. So it is important that this collection of the unwanted goods takes place properly, that the goods are sorted and then resent back to the distribution centers. So that has created another source of demand. So as an institutional investor, you want to invest pretty much at all stages. Currently, the largest demand is actually for the urban logistics, because it is located very close to the city centers. It competes for lands for alternative uses, especially residential. So there isn't that much space in the cities to develop. So whatever space is in high demand, and there is a big growth of rent, and that is how, as an institutional investor, you want to participate. But at the same time, it's difficult to build portfolios of urban logistics because these are small assets. So if you go in scale, it's not that easy to build the portfolios. So it's important also to understand what's going on in a warehouse. So you typically, in a modern warehouse, there are many things that you need to take care. You need to have a certain height. Okay, you need to have a certain ventilation. You need to take care of the loading and unloading. Okay, so you might have loading of small trucks, but if you are doing from that warehouse also home deliveries, you need to have a different center for minivans to go and collect your goods. So when you are investing in modern logistics, you really want to go with a developer that understands the demand of the end users and delivers to you an asset which meets those demands. So for example, right now, one of the major demand is to have spots for charging electric vehicles. You know, there is a transition from trucks which are going on diesel to electric trucks. And what is the best place to load or to recharge the battery of the truck? It's while it is being loaded. So as a logistic warehouse, you want to have in the loading bay also the possibility of recharging the batteries of the truck. Also, you want to make the warehouse self-sufficient when it comes to their own electricity, and I will show you in a moment while electricity is becoming very important in a warehouse. So you might want to install solar panels on the roof, and it's important because you cannot just install solar panel on a roof if the roof is very thin and it will collapse. So it is also important that when you design a warehouse, the roof is reinforced so that you can put this additional solar panel which will generate electricity for the tenant. So why the tenant need electricity? Well, because increasingly these warehouses are automated. So there are robots that do the packing and the collection of the goods from the shelves, so that they can be sent to the retailers or to the end clients. That requires electricity. Okay, so there is a lot of automation going on. The automation requires electricity, and the tenant want to make sure that electricity comes from renewable sources. So what's the best way of generating electricity is just put a nice solar panel over the warehouse. So what are the key drivers of warehouses? We said e-commerce, okay? The second is reshoring, and we will see in a moment what it is reshoring, and restocking. Okay, so let's look at this one by one. So first of all, the rise of e-commerce. E-commerce is on a path, has been on a growth path for the last 20 years, really, and there was a spike during the COVID because everybody was at home. So now there is kind of a correction, but this is not to say that there is going to be a reversal of the trend. So the retailers are reducing their space in high street, in the shopping centers, and they are they are renting warehouses and they are doing online sales. So that's the first driver of demand. Reshoring. Okay, so what has happened? What is happening is that the factories have moved to China in 20-30 years ago because the labor was cheap. Okay, but now the factories are coming back. Okay, why? Because the automation. Okay, the introduction of robotics in the manufacturing process has reduced the need of labor and of cheap labor. So it makes more sense for European and American manufacturers to produce on site, to produce next to the cities, so that you can sell to your consumer. There is a cost in shipping goods from another part of the world. So this is a very gradual process, but it is now evident. Okay, so with the reshoring of production, there is an increase in the demand of industrial space. But also there is a process of restocking. This is much faster than reshoring. And it's really started over the last couple of years, when the manufacturers realized that their supply chain going around the world, and when they split the production across countries, so to take advantage of tax incentive, and they were really operating on something was called just in time. This was invented by Toyota. This idea was very risky. Okay, so there was a manufacturer like Volkswagen couldn't deliver their cars to their consumers because they had outsourced the production of the key to China. So the factory in China closed because of COVID, and they couldn't deliver the car. So from the just in time, now we are talking to just in case. Okay, so you want to have a lot of the spare parts very, very close to the production. So that increases the demand of manufacturing. So restocking, reshoring, and e-commerce, it's like a cocktail that has boosted the demand of industrial and logistics space to the point that 70%, first of all, there is very little free space, I mean vacancies, but even the new supply, 70% of the new supply that will come in the next 3 to 5 years has already been pre-booked. Okay, and the 30% of speculative supply that has not been booked is pre-leased, typically 2 to 3 months before it is completed. So industrial is really one of the best sector. It does real estate sectors to invest.